It's day 5 of the expansion accelerator, and I have loved every day so far. And I think today is my favorite because the thing that I'm going to have you do is a mantra that we have inside of many of my spaces, specifically Energy Expansion Academy. If you're in and you know what we're talking about today, you can shout it out loud. And I will say the words in just a moment. But I first want to bring you into something, another element of conscious reality creation. And if you remember when I first introduced this the other day, I had talked about how I have a little bit of a resistance to using the word manifesting. So, the art of manifestation is very real, but I feel like the way that manifestation is taught in many spaces, it's so prevalent in the coaching space, in the mindset space. I feel like it's a little convoluted. So, there's something that's important, but it can feel a little confusing and it can feel a little bit hard to do. So there's specific steps around manifesting. One is getting clear on what you want, which is why we focus this week on what are you choosing and what are you going to be celebrating at the end of our time together and what does that feel like and what are the thoughts, like all of that. So we have dabbled in the realm of clarity. And then there's another manifestation rule, and it's act as if. So, taking a minute to think about if you already had those things, if you already felt that way, how would you show up? What would you do? Where would you go? How would you carry yourself? What's the energy you would be in? And now, sometimes this concept of acting as if is easy and it's fun. And you can take a goal and you can say, okay, well, if I had already reached that goal, here's how I would move through the world. Here are the thoughts that I would think that would support that. But I have to tell you personally, there have been moments when I have struggled with act as if. So, for instance, if your goal is to have a business that generates $1 million a year, and you're really far from that. This is one of my goals. I've had a consistent 6-figure income, meaning that the DKC brand has generated over $100,000 in cash sales year after year for the last 5 years. And we've already surpassed that this year. But I am not close to $1 million a year as a business owner. And that would be so fun and so dreamy. And because the gap between having a business that generates $100,000 to $200,000 and $1 million is so big, that's a pretty big gap. I'll think to myself, well, if I had $1 million a year, I would be investing totally differently. But if that money's not actually in the bank, I can't make those kinds of investments. And so there are elements of act as if that we can struggle with. And so the lens that I want to share this with you is that I believe this to be true in every fiber of my being, that everything you desire because it's meant for you. Deepak Chopra has a quote that I love, and he says, within every desire is the mechanics for its fulfillment, which means that if you can dream it right now, if you can think about it, if you can imagine it, if you can journal about it, if you can feel it in your bones, the only reason that you can see it, feel it, write it, think about it, all those things is because you already have within you right now what it takes to bring that to life. Let that one land. The other layer of this that I believe is that there is a reality. This is a little mind bending. You might want to listen to this part a few times. There is a reality right now, a parallel universe where those dreams, those desires have already come true. That there right now is a version of you that is on the other side of where it is that you want to be. And so it's less about acting as if and more about stepping into the frequency of that version of you. I feel like acting as if can often have us get fixated on things in our external world where letting her lead, that's what we're doing. We're going to let her lead today and letting that version of you lead, feeling into. I want you to notice how you feel in your body when I say those words, that there is a version of you right now in this moment that exists who has it all figured out, who's already at said destination, who has already been through the journey. And you can close your eyes and you can take a few deep breaths and you can breathe her in right now. And you can let her guide you. You can let her help you make decisions. You can call on her for wisdom and advice. This is one of my favorite aspects of conscious reality creation, is allowing yourself to connect to the energy of that version of you, and then you let her lead. So that is going to be your energy expander and super simple action step for today. If you feel called to journal about anything that comes up, you're more than welcome to. But today is less about journaling and more about practicing the being. Noticing, coming back to day one when we were talking about choice, before you make any choice or decision or take any action, no matter how big or how small, take a minute to close your eyes, pause, breathe in as if you're breathing that version of yourself in, and ask yourself, what would she do? And do that.